Good Saturday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Byron Douglas. We'll let a few folks hop on and I'll say hello. I'm used to working 14 News Sunrise, so I'll try not to say good morning. Hope everyone's having a great day. I'm enjoying watching the Open and the golf that's on 14 WFIE. There's a look at our alert day. I think we're going to get through this one okay, but we do have a risk for isolated severe thunderstorms this afternoon and tonight. And then as we go through Tuesday, I think right now the best setup for a cold front's going to cycle on through for severe storms would be Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday night. Not looking at a big outbreak of rough weather, but a powerhouse front that's going to work on through will be breezy during that time frame. So that's the latest there. So there's a look at that alert day breakdown. I'll come back to that. GJ, Laura, hope everyone's doing well. So that's the latest there. We're going to check in with the Storm Prediction Center. Sometimes they update when we're on the stream. First of all, we do have a couple of our counties that are under a heat advisory down across western Kentucky. We're all in this kind of together. We'll take a look at the heat index outlook in a moment. If you miss out on any storms, that heat index will stretch a bit. Includes Gallatin County, Illinois, Morganfield, Uniontown, down to Sturgis. Of course, they have the rally going through Union County, Webster, Hopkins, and officially Muhlenberg. But again, we'll check our temperatures in a moment. They're going to get some drought relief out to the west. Areas there in Phoenix had their first rain earlier in the week since late March. The flooding threat across the area has been shifted a little farther to the north and east. And I think we can handle a little rain at this point. We haven't had much rain since last Saturday. Obviously, some areas had too much. And we had some spots that had some rain this week. So it's an isolated severe weather threat. Doesn't break down the severity of the thunderstorms, just a reminder. And I think generally the tornado threat, where you have a big bullseye, level 3 threat for our friends up there in Youngstown, Ohio, Erie, Pennsylvania, Buffalo, New York. They don't get many of those. Generally north there of Columbus, covers Cleveland and those areas. And now scattered severe storms down to about Bloomington. So we're going to have to watch Jasper, areas up to our north, Petersburg. Some of these areas would be the best setup for isolated severe thunderstorms. But it does generally include, yesterday when I did my last stream, was generally east of US 41. So it encompasses most of the viewing area. We're pretty capped right now. We're not included in a tornado threat, a low-end damaging wind threat. But with thunderstorms, even if they're sub-severe, you want to be indoors, obviously. And then on Sunday, I think there's a case to be made for isolated severe storms kind of along the Kentucky-Tennessee border, down through Nashville, Knoxville, and down into the Cumberland, Smoky Mountains, and then the big bullseye. If you have flights on Sunday into Charlotte, they could have some weather delays there. But that's Sunday. And generally, we're not at risk for anything major on Monday and Tuesday. But on Tuesday, right now, this would set up for a scattered, slight risk for severe storms. It includes southwest Indiana and western Kentucky. So we'll have to monitor this right now. This is where we could see a line of storms, or within a squall line, that damaging wind threat. And generally, the tornado threat would set up a little farther east, but it is early. Anytime you have a squall line with all this energy and a front working on through, you can't rule that out. So that's the latest. This is just an early heads up. Invariably, timing would change. I think the best timing could hold off until late Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, and then into the pre-dawn hours on Wednesday. I should have this highlighted in the 7-day. Otherwise, we're seeing these clouds. They're interesting to look at. Sometimes you see there's not, the winds aloft at 20, 25,000 feet are barely moving, 10, 15 miles an hour. So right now, we'll just keep an eye on these cumulus clouds as we go to the afternoon. I'll look there into Owensboro. You see it is breezy. So sometimes when you get the winds converging, you'll get these showers and storms. And now we'll take a look at Doppler radar. We've had no lightning across the viewing area, and we have some storms that are going out in Oak Ridge, south there in Perryville, Missouri. Jeff, good afternoon to you. Sharon, hello to all. Let's go back and we'll do a little nowcasting here on Doppler. So no lightning across the area. Got a shower there down into Crittenden County. I don't see any lightning on that. So we'll see how these storms, we'll have a few as we go through that time frame. No warnings as you go up through northern stretches north there of Kokomo, east of Valpo, South Bend, Michigan City, right over Kankakee, and you get into North Junction, Rochester, Winnemac, and up towards Warsaw. That puts you up along U.S. Highway 30. Quite a bit of lightning with clusters. That's up there in northern stretches of Indiana. And let's take a look. That little storm there in Crittenden County. It's not producing any lightning. So that's a look there at Doppler radar. Let's run down our temps. They look like this. We're at 91 at Evansville, 90 in Madisonville. I believe I queued up the dew point. It's going to be in that. Let's see what we have. Yep, that's 74, so that is high, and we'll check the heat index in a moment. Anything above generally 70 or higher is definitely in that uncomfortable range. And then the feel-like temperature, 100 in Evansville, 103 in Henderson, and 104 in Owensboro. So this could run up as high as 110 as we go into the afternoon, especially in those areas that have the heat advisory, absent any thunderstorms. And of course, we'll have some easing as far after nightfall. In the next 12 hours, not looking at a high percentage of thunderstorms, but in that category as we go into the afternoon and evening. Let's take a look. This takes us to 4 o'clock, a few storms, and they could set up anywhere. This is what's projected as we go into the future. So you see some storms, Henderson, Owensboro. Of course, if you have a heat advisory, you want some relief. But they could set up in Princeton, Jasper, especially if you get an outflow boundary or two going. This takes us through tonight. So you don't see a big line there of showers and storms. The best dynamics are off to our east. But we do have that level 1 threat. Sunday, the best setup from some showers and storms will be during the afternoon to our south. So you get in Hopkins, Muhlenberg, Ohio counties, points Arlington, Morton's Gap, and down through Tennessee. The best setup for some thunderstorms, even down through Hopkinsville. So I think the best setup would be a little farther to the south. Let's go into Tuesday. It will be fairly breezy. We're also going to keep an eye on the air quality alerts potentially as we go into early next week. This is Tuesday. This is a mid-range model of the GFS. Again, I'll have new data and I'll have more coming up at 6 and 10, and then our streaming in between there at 9 p.m. So fairly breezy, looks to be capped Tuesday afternoon. And this is Tuesday night, so you see the winds converging. So these storms, generally, the best timing right now would be late Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday night. By the time we come back, or on 14 News Sunrise on Monday morning, timing will change. And Wednesday, that front barrels on through during the morning. So we're going to monitor those morning hours on Wednesday. And then, boy, anytime you get winds out of the north and northeast in the month of July, to have a front, this is kind of a graveyard for fronts during this time of year. It cycles on through. So as you go into next week, you're going to see some of the benefits in the 7-day outlook. Even into next weekend, temperatures look reasonable. No heat waves out there, but summer, we have a ways to go. Here are the 6 and 10-day outlooks, kind of in a category of slightly below normal, gray, near normal during that time frame. And precipitation, near normal during that time frame. Again, it's an outlook. It comes from the Climate Prediction Center from NOAA. So it's not a locked-in forecast. They don't always work, and of course, they make modifications concerning that. Let's take a look at the next 7 days. Hopefully, yes, I have my evening 7 days. Sometimes I have the morning one queued up. Let me get out of the way. I don't want to eclipse the 7-day. Generally, we're not looking at any storms generally outside of the pre-dawn hours on Sunday. We're going to keep an eye on Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday night. We might carry this over into Wednesday. But look at 82 Wednesday, 80 Thursday. There's a 59 on Thursday morning. Wow. You know, Vincennes, Jasper, some of the outlying areas could drop into nickels, a couple of 5s. So a nice cool down, 82 on Friday. And then 85 as we go into next Saturday with those typical showers and storms as we go into the afternoon. So I'll let you absorb that. Pretty nice to look at. As we go into county fair, there's more county fairs going next week. Not too bad. So Tuesday will be that transition day with the alert day. So I'm going to go back, just show you the graphic here we have on the alert day. I'll send you on your way. I'll have more coming up. I don't anticipate anything in the way of severe weather here over the next couple of hours. And if we catch any warnings, generally, my view, they would be a severe thunderstorm warning. We might have an isolated, and we're risk for that, a damaging wind threat. So there's a look at the alert day graphic. Hello to Mary, Laura, Abigail, Zach. Good afternoon, Zach. Stephen, hope everyone is doing well. And you guys are going to enjoy the rest of your weekend. I was checking in with Michael Fecke. He's doing weekends out of Channel 12 in Portland, Oregon. You can follow him on Facebook. He showed a beautiful sunrise along the Columbia River out in Portland, Oregon. So he sends his well wishes. And take a look at this heat advisory. So you'll continue to see us here on the weekends as we get closer to finding a replacement. Michael's not an easy one to replace, and we miss him terribly. All right, I'm going to take this folder. There's a look at the advisory. And again, if you have any questions, I'll get back to you. If not, I'll see you at 14 News coming up at 6, the stream at 9, and then at 10 o'clock. And if we have any storms firing, I'll push something out on our 14 First Alert weather app. Please keep that handy if you're down at Sturgis, whatever you're doing out at the county fair. Always have an indoor plan if we catch a gusty thunderstorm. I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.